Have you ever had the experience where things are going great for you and you're making friends, you're feeling healthy, you're super fit, you're doing great work on the job and getting recognized for it, and your house is even clean, and you think, oh, I've got it. I finally got this life thing together. And then, bam, something happens that makes you feel rejected or angry or panicked. And instead of just being thrown off for 15 minutes or an hour, you go way off the tracks for days or weeks or more. And if you went through abuse and neglect as a kid, this is probably a phenomenon you know really well. And when you're dysregulated neurologically, that's what's going on, and you're feeling like you're offline for those days or weeks, then getting things done can feel almost impossible. You know that you should do something like get out of bed, take the garbage out, make a phone call your friend, but you just can't do it. The ordinary word for this is procrastination, but for people still at the effect of neglect or abuse from the past, procrastinating can have some harsh overtones of depression and the collapse of confidence, and most of all, a frozen feeling, a feeling of paralysis and dread when you even think of going out the door and risking again that something will happen to dysregulate you. You might get honked at or yelled at or criticized or ostracized. And so without even a conscious decision, you take a step back and back and back from your life, and it becomes procrastination. And this is one more way of playing small. This is the 5th video in my series on how I stopped playing small, and how you can too. I'm making this series right now because I need your help getting the subscriber count on this channel up over 1 million. It was going really well, and then it just kind of slowed down. I'm like, come on, let's get it over 1 million this year. Do you think we can do it? It can happen if you hit that subscribe button, and if you hit the notification bell. By the way, you're going to get a little ping every time another video comes out, so you'll know when another installment of this Playing Small series comes out. I'd love it if you did that. Now, procrastinating is a huge and common adult symptom of early trauma, and it's a bad one because, well, for one, it can fill you with shame. But here's the weird thing. It can also feel like really nice. It can feel comforting even, just for a little while. Kind of like, oh, I call it a cozy cocoon of oblivion. And that's because if you're someone who gets easily triggered and overstimulated by doing things that challenge you, like stepping up, putting yourself out there, being vulnerable with another person, there can be a strong countervailing force that wants to pull you back into the cocoon, snug, safe, not triggered. But it's actually not safe, not at all. Avoiding your life is anything but safe. Everything good in your life, all the growth that you're ever going to have as a person, depends on you spending time regularly in the world with people. Not all of your time, but a balance between the time you spend striving for your dreams and connecting with people, braving the world on one hand, and then on the other, the quiet time that you need to collect yourself and re-regulate your brain and nervous system and your emotions, which for most people who have complex PTSD, it can get very frazzly and dysregulated during your out time. I call it that, like out time, when you're out doing things with people, and then in time. And out time, it costs you, but it's the only way that you progress your life. Out time, in time, and you need a little of both to fulfill all that you're meant to be. You need rest. But if you only rest and hide, you're playing small. That's what playing small is. So how can you bring it back to some middle place where you can be both courageous and take care of yourself and not have these long periods of frozenness and spiritual torpor and self-sabotage that are so common for people with trauma? This is worth taking seriously because, trust me, playing small in any form holds you back. The solution lies in dealing with your dysregulation, which I'll explain, and taking action. And if you're new to my channel and new to the concept of being dysregulated, this is the name for the disorienting phenomenon that happens to everyone sometimes, but it's especially common for people with complex PTSD. I wrote a whole book about it. It's Dysregulated. You can get this online or in bookstores near you. It's in 6 languages other than English so far. It's out there. And there's an audiobook that I voiced, and I can honestly recommend, if you want to learn my healing method, like it's laid out in a very systematic, step-by-step way here, and you can follow it. It's a great way to support yourself, even if you're already in my membership or taking my courses or in some of our coaching programs. When you're dysregulated, you might experience it as a feeling of discombobulation, numbness, being flustered, or not being able to stick with your thoughts long enough to remember what you were saying. Did you have that? Or you walk into a room and you can't remember why. What am I doing in here? Have you ever done that? Dysregulation is often mistaken for ADHD, in fact. And your attention, it is like a bag of cats. But so is your whole nervous system, and it can make you emotionally overreactive. You lash out or do things impulsively, or it can make you feel so overwhelmed that you want to lay down in bed with Netflix and just procrastinate. Sometimes maybe it's a conscious choice, fine, but procrastination for us is often triggered by dysregulation. And we get so used to seeking comfort and quiet and low stimulation and everything being nice, we seek out blankness, that we use inaction like a drug. And in fact, many of us are more likely to use other self-soothing but self-destructive behaviors when we're procrastinating, like binge eating or smoking weed all day or playing video games or fantasizing about someone who either isn't available or who doesn't exist. So we check out. We're not here. And the trouble with that is, in life, people who aren't here don't get very far. They always used to say in my high school, you have to be present to win. And have you ever heard that? It's true. You have to show up for life or good things have a hard time finding you. Your fantasy might be that in a minute or tomorrow, you'll leap into action again. And it's sometimes true that you need some rest. But the fantasy of procrastination is that if you just lie around avoiding your life long enough, your batteries will get recharged. And then what? It'll be all solved. Inspiration will come back, energy will come back, confidence will come back, and you'll be able to do all those things that everyone's waiting for from you. That's the fantasy. You'll be able to get ahead in life. And wanting all these things to happen is not wrong. It's right to want all those things. We want those. We need it to happen. We need to rise up, to heal from what has happened so that we can become our real selves and bring to the world what we're capable of bringing, what we were made to bring, in fact. So it feels terrible knowing that you're meant for something more. You got that vague sense, but you notice like where you are now is nowhere near that. And you don't know how to act on it. You can't. You feel frozen. And in my experience, this is the most haunting kind of depression. The thing I always want to procrastinate on is making these videos. Why? Because it's hard. It's actually really hard to make these videos. I don't want to complain. I really love publishing them, but making them is like, oh, you really got to focus. And it takes a lot of work coming up with something out of thin air and fixing up my face and turning on all the equipment and saying it on camera correctly and not stumbling over my speech like I am a little bit right now. And it's hard work and it's really, really risky. You guys might judge me or you might criticize me. And, this happens a lot. People, the commenters, my gosh, they criticize me and, they criticize the people who write letters. That really bothers me because the people who write letters, they've done nothing wrong. All they've done is like ask for help. And they've done it in this forum where other people get to benefit. And I feel like the only proper response to the letter writers is like, thank you for sharing that, for sharing what your struggle was and allowing, Anna to talk about it and so that we could all hear about it. Oh, I just don't like it when people get into the comments and be like, that she is obviously a hoe. I just like, don't say that. Don't say that. She's obviously not. She's obviously an amazing person who asked for help, who sees a problem and has been through a lot and is trying to crawl out. And there's nothing more noble and holy, honestly. I hope everybody can recognize that. So my team and I try to take the nasty comments out. And so mostly what you see is all the love, the heartfelt and supportive comments and experiences that people share. So much love gets shared in these comments. I mean, really, if you haven't read them yet, get in there. They're lovely. And then just ignore if you stumble on somebody saying something mean. Ignore. But does that stop me from getting hurt when someone lays into me? No. They criticize my hair, my opinions. They call me, they say, okay, boomer. It's like, what? That's so rude. Yes, I haven't died yet. I'm so sorry. Or they accuse me of holding opinions that they don't like, they get really angry just because they have a different opinion than me, like they're somebody who can't handle that, or they actually accuse me of having opinions that I don't even know what they're talking about. Like, it's not my opinion. But, if they criticize me for an opinion I already have, whatever, it's fair, right? Or they say I'm victim blaming, or I can't see through my own privilege, or I'm problematic, or I'm a left-wing fanatic or a right-wing fanatic. That I get about an equal mix of both, I think is like pretty good. I think I'm doing pretty well. Or that I'm uneducated, or I'm living in an ivory tower, or I'm dangerous, or I'm ignorant, or I'm a freeloader, or I'm a nasty feminist, or they think I'm just full of shit. And even when the criticisms are absurd, it makes me want to give up sometimes. It just never feels good. It can totally dysregulate me because I'm human. And just like most of you here, I have complex PTSD. But what good does it do if I run from these triggers? Because if I want to get away from these triggers, I have to not make videos. And then what is my life about? Everything I do because I've learned to face what hurts me and then calm my own triggers and get clarity in my mind about my purpose. Not the haters who just lash out at anyone online, and not the people, I don't know, maybe they have a point, but getting involved in an argument with them will completely take me out of my purpose, what I am trying to do, stepping forward into my little part in doing something good in the world. We all have a part to play. And you're here. If you hear me, I'm playing my part. Now, one of the most helpful things that anyone has said to me is this, and it's from Reed Tracy, who is the CEO of Hay House, which is the publisher of my books of Re-Regulated, which I'm always so proud to show you, and one that's coming out in October 2025 called Connectability. And I'm so grateful. They signed me for 2 books at the same time, and it was so validating and helpful. And just having books out there from a major global publisher is a real honor. And I know a lot of you have read it. And if you haven't, buy the book. It's great. And if you have read it, would you mind posting a review? Just throw that in there. When I'm taping this video, the second book isn't out yet, but it's going to be really good. It's about healing the hidden ways we isolate and finding your people and feeling at last like you belong. So Reed Tracy, the CEO of Hay House, is this amazing person. And he's running this massive, worldwide publishing and content company who, because I'm an author, I have the privilege of being able to call him and get advice when I'm stuck or overwhelmed. And I told him, I don't know what's happening, but my YouTube numbers are kind of going down. And I was getting so close to 1 million subscribers, and then the numbers slowed down. I'm like, I feel like YouTube is messing with me. And first of all, he helped me understand what had happened. And it's that I had this incredibly successful video about clutter. And it just generated millions of views for a couple of years. And it's been sort of coming back down again. And it's just affected everything. So psychologically, I had interpreted it as a personal failure, but it was actually something really successful had sort of run its course for now. Sometimes on YouTube, an old video will come up again. You never know. But so I was just sort of back at normal level, and I knew that. But I told him I was worried, I really need to get on course and give people what they want. And, that's a good motive and everything, to try to give you what you want. But what you want is something that you never had before, right? And so what Reed suggested to me is he said, forget about the clicks. Stop counting clicks and views and subscribers, and stop trying to make videos about what you think other people want, and make videos about things that you care about. He encouraged me to let myself be the channel, the conduit of the most important thing that I can be making videos about right now. And that's interesting. I've learned this lesson before at other things. When I used to be a comedian, I was in a skit trio back in the 80s when I was in college, and we did very well. We were in San Francisco, and we would do really avant-garde, crazy stuff. We'd try anything. And sometimes it was funny and sometimes it wasn't. And it helped us develop some brilliant work. And then we moved to Hollywood. And when you're there and you have a performance, when you're up on the stage in a comedy lineup, there might be a producer out there or something, and you have to be good every time. And so we would only ever repeat the same stuff and the same skits, and we would just hone it and make it tighter and try to make the jokes faster and closer together. And it lost all its magic. And we were still fairly successful, but we were not happy anymore. It didn't feed us. It's really hard to try to make it in Hollywood, and something's got to be rewarding for you to carry on. So that had sort of been happening with my content, I realized. I had a couple of hard things happen last year. The biggest one was that my stepdad died, and, some old trauma wounds came up. I was writing my book, Connectability. And so I was creating videos that were based on old ideas that I had done before. And you know what? Because the audience is always renewed, it's okay. Like, some of that is good because many people are brand new and they'll be in the comments like, what is dysregulation? You just said that. I don't even know what it is. And in my mind, it's like, oh my gosh, I just talked it to death. I thought that I shouldn't say it anymore. But Reed encouraged me to just make videos about what's on my mind, and what's on my mind right now is about playing small. It's something I'm really working on in my life. I'm celebrating where I stopped playing small. So I'm making this whole series for you. And even though he said, don't look at the numbers, I'm asking you to hit subscribe because I want to get to 1 million. I do. I never thought, like, I was in my 50s when I started Crappy Childhood Fairy. Nobody thought I was going to be successful on YouTube. I'll tell you that. Even me. And here we are up in the 900s, and it's getting close. And then it slowed down. I'm like, come on, let's get over that hump. You know what I really want? You get the gold plaque. I have the silver plaque for 100,000 views from years ago. I want the gold, and I'm really into it. And when I get it, I'm going to make a video. I'm going to share it with you, and we're all going to go, yay. And it's going to be a win for all of us. So do hit subscribe, but also I'm sincere that I feel really liberated and energized by this idea that my job is to make videos about what I think is most important. And you're going to see some videos that are less interesting to you, but I think the best work is yet to come. The best knowledge is yet to come. As an online community here, together, and also with our membership community over on the member side. If you're not a member, you can be a member if you like. You can always go to my website, crappychildhoodfairy.com, and find the free tools and the paid programs. But a lot of people have written in to say this is pioneering work. And I don't know if I must have told you guys this, but like the Royal College of Psychiatry uses some of my videos to teach trauma-informed care to psychiatrists in the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. Tens of thousands, perhaps more, therapists and psychiatrists use Crappy Childhood Fairy content for their own healing and also to refer to their clients and patients. And do you know why they even know about this? It's because you engage with this. So it's like together, we're taking this idea of how people are really affected and what it really feels like. Like, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a doctor. I talk about what it's like. And when you resonate, you're teaching me. You're teaching me, like, okay, if I hear 1,000 people come back and go, I have that too, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I would call that like a common symptom of trauma. This is a lot of how I've learned everything I know. I read books, I have my own experience, and I have you. And I don't play small anymore. And I'm trying to be brave to keep putting things out there, even though some people are going to attack it. So I'm making this series so that we can all stop playing small together. And I'm open about my struggles with complex PTSD, and being open and being honest and real is what makes me love my work. It's what gets me criticized, but it makes me love my work and makes my life feel like it's all for something. The ideas are flowing again, and I'm in growth mode. And I want you to have this too. And I know you know the feeling, and it's the best feeling of all. But trying to make everybody happy is playing small. What makes people happy is when you are tapped into your highest creativity and you're sharing it with people. Procrastination is when you can't do that. You can't find that sweet spot. The mean people and the triggers and the way that life can be stressful sometimes feels bigger than the force of your own creativity and what you bring to the world. And when I say creativity, it's not just like art and music and YouTube videos. Creativity is your improvised contribution to the fabric of life. And some people are doing that as teachers, and some people are doing that by being a cashier who just incredibly lifts up the energy of a place. Some people do it by cleaning. So we all have a role to play in this world that we're creating. We all go to the bad place sometimes, but it's time to come back out. I've always said discouragement is poison, but encouragement is medicine. Seek out the encouraging people. For me, your kind comments are hugely encouraging. You'll never know what a difference it can make in my day. People will say, oh, people probably say this all the time. It's like, but you said it right now when I really needed it. I was just feeling like I couldn't pull out another video out of the air. And then you said something kind and I was like, oh yeah, I want to talk about that. So when you give kind encouragement to other people here in the comments, it is more powerful than you will ever know. And if you say unkind things to people here, well, that's also can really hurt them. We can't catch it all, but we try, and we encourage the people in the comment section. We especially encourage you to encourage people who feel down, especially encourage those who share that they are taking some small step toward feeling better. They see some little bit of hope, like go in there and just like put your loving hands under their comment there and say something. And let them know you heard them. Let them know you're on their side. It's a very strong thing to do. I mean, bullies and haters, they're always going to be here, right? We can't really stop them entirely, but we definitely aren't going to let them win. So everything depends on learning to keep your brain and nervous system regulated, despite what anybody else is doing. Because when you're regulated, you can think clearly. You can make decisions and act on those decisions, and that's everything. That's how you heal from what happened to you and change your life. Put a little invisible barrier around yourself against the people who are just lashing out at you. Don't let it in. We have enough sort of self-discouragement. That's like more than enough for us to work with. So we have to have a way to protect ourselves from people who are just like casually crappy to us. You don't have to be perfect at this to get started. You don't have to learn to re-regulate before you get started. If you want to learn how to get re-regulated, there's a quiz down below in my free tools, also on the website, Crappy Childhood Fairy, that you can take to just like check what you're experiencing against common signs of dysregulation and just see, is that what's going on? And if you want to work on that, we have courses for you. We have all kinds of cool things, free and paid that you can do to work on your symptoms. So all of that is down in the description section below all my videos. And you may not know that you see a couple lines of that under the video, but there's a little word more. And when you click that, it opens up. And, I've just got oodles of things there for you that you can access and, pick from the menu of what would fit your needs best today. I hear from so many of you out there who are not able to get out of an abusive situation, or who are not able to financially care for yourself and the people who count on you, or who are not able to show the world who you really are because the risk involved in all of these things, from putting yourself out there, risking criticism and failure, feels like it'll be so dysregulating that you disintegrate. And I do know that feeling. It feels like you'd break down and never be okay again. And you might have been close to that place before, that ledge, and I've been there too, and it's terrifying. But there's a gentle path through that place and up out of that place. And it involves learning to identify when you're dysregulated and learning to get, re-regulated again. And from a regulated place, your heart is beating at a nice rate. It's steady, it's strong. Your breathing is calm and regular. Your brain is humming along and doing what it does. And you're attuned and aware to what you feel and what's going on around you. And now you can take action in the loveliest and most constructive way. Things get easier. And you're now on a level playing field with the people who don't get dysregulated. You'll get dysregulated again, but you'll know what to do. You'll know how to notice it and, bring yourself back to this calm, attentive state. You'll be able to notice when you're hungry or tired or full or feeling like the person in front of you, something's off about them. You can detect that red flag. You can choose to use your attention the way you want to use your attention. You can learn or listen carefully to someone who's opening up to you. You can have insight. It's human nature to desire the easy path in any given moment, to crap out, just lie down and avoid trouble. But it's also human nature. It's coded into us to want something more. It comes and gets me about 3 a.m. in the morning when I've been procrastinating. I wake up, I just feel agitated and demoralized and I'm tossing and turning. Do you ever have that? I want the comfort of avoiding things that are hard and triggering, but even more, I want the joy I get from doing things that I know are right for me to do. For me, it's going ahead and making the video. And here I am, I'm doing it. I get to post the video and then read all the comments, a few yucky, but most of them, 99+%, are kind and wise and tender things that people say in the comments. And it makes me feel useful and included and real. So do you have something that does that for you? Have you been avoiding that thing? Are you feeling ready to change that problem and start taking good, healthy actions that make you feel good? So even if you wake up in the middle of the night sometimes worried that life is passing you by, you go to bed at night knowing that today you really lived, you really did, and you made progress in your healing. And you put yourself out there in a good way, and you took actions in a positive direction. It's a good feeling. And this doesn't just require healing, it is healing. Those good actions in the right measure, taking action, pausing to re-regulate, and then taking action again, it's how you can climb out of the trauma ditch as many times as you have to, and this allows you to stop playing small. If you need guidance on how to get re-regulated, I can show you. Try the calming techniques and then keep practicing. You might be surprised how well it works. And if you can, give some encouragement to all the good souls here who are practicing too. Give them a kind word. Share your progress here in the comments. And then know that healing procrastination and all the other ways your past trauma has held you back is possible. When you can really let that in, your life begins to open. You're designed to heal and have a full life. If you're ready to take that free course, The Daily Practice, click right here. And once you register, we'll invite you to free calls too. It's all free. I'll see you very soon.